we have the first half of an interview with new Captain Scarlet himself, Mr. Wayne Forrester.
We'll be watching a random thing from the Gerry Anderson oeuvre, thanks to the Randomiser.
That's true. We'll be hearing from you, our wonderful podsterons, who've been emailing us in your thoughts and comments. How exciting.
The Gerry Anderson Podcast with Jamie Anderson, Richard James and Chris Dale.
If you like to spend time with like-minded people discussing the works of one of our most foremost TV and film producers, and if you like to look back on perhaps a classic episode from their oeuvre, if you like to hear letters from and emails from other like-minded people,
yes,
and if you like to have a special guest talking about their life and experience working with said producer,
said oeuvre,
and if you've got nothing better to do,
then I reckon the Gerry Anderson Podcast is for you.
Gosh, yes, that's a lot of qualifications, though.
It's a very good review, though.
Yeah.
And yes, if you've got nothing better to do, why not join us for the next probably hour and a quarter, hour and a half?
That long, is it?
Seems to be the general length of things. It's the Gerry Anderson Podcast.
I love oeuvre.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. I might use it more often.
Please do.
More often.
Oh.
Yeah. Before we go any further, we do have some YouTube comments because people do love to comment beneath our videos. So, Chris, would you like to read these out from
all of
our
them.
viewers? Yeah, there's only
All of
three.
them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the first one is from Black November.
Right.
Who says, I just watched Stingray for the very first time a few weeks ago, and I already want to see more. Great timing.
The first...
presumably this means for the whole 60th anniversary.
Yes.
Yes,
Imagine
it
watching
does.
Stingray for the first time.
Well, it has to happen to everybody who watches Stingray.
And
I
you
suppose.
haven't seen a lot of it, have you?
No, but I have seen
some.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we don't know how old Black November is.
No, all right, I
5
didn't
years
want to
old?
open this whole particular
Well,
can of
no,
worms.
no.
This is supposed to be like brief and, you know.
Okay. So Cyclone Boom
right.
says, really enjoying these episodes. I don't
Yes.
know which ones they are.
The Marine Minutes.
Yeah, Marine
Oh,
Minutes.
this is on Marine Minutes.
Yes.
Episode 5.
Like it says in the script there,
That's
Chris.
right. You remember the
didn't-
script, Chris?
Yeah.
That I so lovingly painstakingly prepare?
Okay. Really enjoying these episodes. Clever editing, how they're produced. They are very clever.
Well done, AC.
The voice acting is very well done too, in character to the originals, Titan and X20 in particular.
Yeah.
I do love what Wayne and Nick are doing with that.
Oh,
Great.
yes.
A nice detail expanding Marine Minutes to Marine hours and days.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Marine years. Marine
Yes.
centuries,
Marine
yes.
decades, Marine millennia.
Right. I feel like we're living through one of those right now.
Me too.
Okay, last one.
Oh, good.
Phew.
So Roger Smith says,
Oh, yeah?
Hi, Richard, Jamie and Chris.
Hello there.
Can let Chris know that I am halfway through The Titanic and Stratagem.
I think it might be written by Chris Dale, I believe.
Written by me and enjoying it very
Yeah.
much.
Good.
I
Of course it
also love Volume 1 of the Stingray comic anthology. Great news that I will be ordering Volume 2 soon. Technical manual, my Christmas treat for myself. I must say you have done Stingray's 60th anniversary proud.
Aw.
My wallet has been crying most of the year. PWOR, Roger.
Ah.
Sorry to your wallet,
Yes.
Roger.
How's it panned out, this 60th year Stingray? I mean, you had
it's really
this
lovely.
huge plan you had. It seems to be coming off nicely, doesn't it?
Yes, it's all happened. Things have happened. Things
Yeah.
are out into the world.
Yeah.
Chris has written a book, as he keeps
Has he?
reminding us.
In the book.
Titanic and Stratagem. Project Orca is out now,
Yeah.
and people
That's
have
not
got it
written
in
by
their
me,
hands.
that's written by Bob Ayres.
Written by Bob Ayres, yes. And more comic. I mean, there's loads of it. And also, I think in the coming weeks we'll have the Deadly Concerto
Yes.
Right.
for people to watch, so they can, get into
amazing.
the flavour of things.
Great.
Because I really enjoyed watching that when we were editing the concert program together,
no, lovely.
reliving it. It was great fun.
It was great fun. Now, just before we get on to the first part of my interview with new Captain Scarlet himself, Wayne Forrester.
Oh, is it? Oh,
yeah.
so nice.
I know. Shall we have some Gerry Anderson news?
Yeah, all right then.
Phew.
Gerry Anderson news time. It's the
What?
newsy news.
Oh, yeah. Oh, do you know why should I forget that?
Look at you both. You're so relaxed.
No, but
It's
Chris
so
is just,
chill.
you know,
I don't
supping
even
on his
know-
hot
I don't know
chocolate.
when we're rolling and when we're not rolling.
You're the definition of
I
nonchalance.
just come into the hot chocolate.
Right.
Okay, well, in more exciting news, the Gerry Anderson news.
Oh, yeah.
Have you been listening to our Anderson Audio Adventures podcast?
What's this? A new Gerry Anderson podcast?
Well, I mean, that's confusing because
Yeah.
this is the Gerry Anderson podcast,
Yeah.
but a new Anderson podcast, Anderson Audio Adventures, AAA.
Easy to remember.
For short. It is a free weekly podcast where you can enjoy audiobooks, audio dramas, and other audio-style adventures.
Right.
Free of charge. Currently going through Stingray Monster from the Deep. A couple of chapters a week. It's just a place where you can get into the world of Anderson Audio for free to enjoy it, see if you like it, get used to it, hear the new voices, all that sort of stuff. And it's going down rather well.
I bet.
It's already got some 5-star reviews. So please do search Anderson Audio Adventures in your podcast app of choice and follow or subscribe. And leave a rating and review.
That's once a week, every Friday, is it?
Every Friday.
Every Friday.
Thanks, Chris, for the reminder, because I had actually forgotten. But now I remember. Every Friday.
Great.
Yes. Anyway, there you go. And speaking of Fridays...
Oh, yeah. It is Friday.
It's Friday.
Don't confuse people.
That's not it. Oh, I see.
No, Black Friday is coming.
Yes.
Now, whether you love it because it means things go on sale and you can get your favourite products and, some stuff to enjoy, or you hate it because you think it's a horrible consumerist, vile thing.
Or both.
Or both, which is equally possible.
Yeah. Or neither.
Or neither. We are doing...
Sorry, get to the point. I'm holding you up.
Yeah, you are. We are doing a Black Friday event, of course. There are a load of show-related bundles where you can save 25, 30, 40%, depending on what it is.
Great.
So a good time to pick some stuff up for yourself or for a loved one or even for a hated one if you want to try and make friends with them.
That'll show them. Oh, I see.
Shop.gerryanderson.com. And most excitingly of all, possibly... lots of you have been asking for it for a while. The next item
you're going to get it.
You are going to get it. The next item in our collectibles range, the UFO from UFO.
Yes.
And it's enormous. It's almost the same size as my head.
That is enormous.
Oh,
Rich
yeah.
will attest.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
huge.
Didn't even need to prompt you on
Is
that.
it as shiny?
It's shinier. It spins more freely. But otherwise, it is very, very similar.
Great.
Limited edition, just like the rest. There'll be a pre-order launch price, and it's available for pre-order from the 15th of November.
Ooh, great.
So, yes, you can go and pre-order it and secure yours. They should be with us before the end of the year, so you should have your spinning, shiny, Jamie's head-like collectible for the end of the year.
Can we actually have a spinning, shiny Jamie's head on the Gerry Anderson store?
There is only one of those, and it's not for sale. So.
Does it come with like a, a runway or a kind
No,
of?
it's got a little transparent display base, so it looks like it's in flight.
Great.
But it
Nice.
spins so nicely.
Yeah.
I had the prototype at a Space Con a few weeks ago, and I was manically spinning it.
Wow.
It's really lovely. There
nice.
you go. The biggest one to date, I believe.
Excellent.
So there you go.
Yeah.
What's not to like? Right, that's it. That's the end of this week's Gerry Anderson News.
News. That was the news.
I've got no idea what he's doing.
I quite enjoy that.
Yeah. Oh, I enjoyed
New
it.
Scarlet.
Yes.
Was it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see?
Crispin Merrill would be impressed.
Yeah.
Yes. Wayne Forrester would be impressed.
Talking of Wayne Forrester. Thank you, Chris.
Yes.
I'm not
Segue,
just
Mr.
a pretty face.
Yeah. Just before we hear from our wonderful Podsterons, shall we nip over and see what new Captain Scarlet himself has to say for himself?
Yeah, I think we should.
Shall we?
Yeah.
Over to you, Wayne. Wayne Forrester.
Richard James.
Tell me, is there a Gerry Anderson series that you haven't had a hand in somewhere along the way?
Well, as far as I remember, I wasn't involved in Torchy the Battery Boy.
Would you want to have been part of Torchy?
Well,
There's time.
I mean, I'm getting on a little bit, but no, that looked fun.
Yeah.
No, and Lavender Castle I wasn't involved in. So there have been a few.
Yes, but latterly, Stingray, Thunderbirds.
Yes, that's right.
New Captain Scarlet, of course.
Yeah.
Old Captain Scarlet,
Old
if we can
Captain
call it that.
Yeah.
Space Precinct.
That's right, yeah.
Across
yeah.
all sorts of media, TV, now audio adventures as well of these various programs.
It's amazing. It's a thread that's sort of followed me through my whole life. The one thread.
Yes.
That's sort of linked it. Ever since I was a little boy, I mean, Thunderbirds was hands down my favourite TV show.
Right.
When I was very young. And I never thought that that my career would take me on that path, on that, but somehow it has, and I'm very lucky.
Do you often wish you could go back to that young boy and say, look what you're doing!
Look what you're doing! Take more attention! Read more! No, I remember it as, I mean, for me, Saturday mornings or Sunday mornings, I don't know, it was the weekend, I was 5, I was sitting on the floor watching the television. There was the Radio Times, probably couldn't read it.
Yeah.
But as soon as I saw that Century 21 logo, with the arrow, I knew that I was in for some really special TV viewing.
Now, Wayne, you've sort of let yourself in for something there, because before we go any further, going to play a game called Super Identification.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to show you very brief clips of every single opening credit title sequence of every single Gerry Anderson series.
Right.
From 1957, I think, up until one you might know quite well, in about 2004.
So I may get one right.
You might get one right. So when you see something you know, shout out.
Oh, okay.
Ready?
Yeah, okay.
Have a look at this.
That's Torchy.
Sure.
Four Feather Falls.
Keep watching. Number 3 coming up.
That's Four Feather Falls.
Wow, okay, good. You got your first one there. That was Twizzle.
Twizzle. Oh my God.
Okay, got one.
Oh, that's Supercars.
Yes.
Yeah. Fireball XL.
Of course.
Yeah. Action. Stand by for action. That's Stingray.
It is.
Terrific. Thunderbirds, obviously.
It goes without saying.
Yeah. Brilliant, isn't it? The music is fantastic. Captain Scarlet. Yes. Oh, Joe 90.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ooh. That's not
it's gone.
No,
it's gone.
Okay. This is UFO.
It is.
Okay. The Pretender?
Oh!
Persuaders.
Oh! So close. Protectors.
Protectors.
And a very quick clip there you would have got.
Oh, that's... Oh, God, that's... Okay, that's gone.
I know, it's so quick.
Inspector Gadget?
No, Dick Spanner.
Oh, here we are. Oh, that's Space Precinct.
Legend, favored right across the universe.
This is Lavender Castle.
It is. And finally...
Captain Scarlet.
That's
there we go.
it.
I had
That's
to get
it.
that one right.
Well done, exactly.
Wow.
You know, I mean, you may have noticed we do it really quickly to completely bamboozle you.
Totally bamboozled.
And catch you off balance.
Amazing.
You got 10.
Did I?
Yes, you did. I mean, to be fair, you know, if we'd given you a little bit more time, you would have got many, many more than that.
I was good.
Because I know we throw them at you, Twizzle. You got Torchy, but out of sequence.
Yeah, well, I was just saying it.
I know. But 10, yeah, I know, I'm sorry. But 10 is very good.
Good. Excellent.
There you are.
Oh, look at that.
Your little scorecard.
Oh, look.
You'll go on the front of the desk here with the other...
Their head is almost to scale. Look. Well, it's like sort of Thunderbird scale,
exactly. There you go. So well done. So you mentioned then, I mean, I kind of guess that you do all right on super identification because you've been immersed in this Gerry Anderson world now for a good few years.
True,
really.
yeah. Well, yes.
One way or
absolutely.
another.
Yeah.
But you mentioned there your childhood and started to watch Gerry Anderson shows from perhaps a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
What other things were attracting your attention at that time? Do you remember? What did you grow up loving?
Well, apart from Thunderbirds, I mean, I loved things like Camberwick Green, Trumpton, Mr. Ben.
Great.
All of those, Magic Roundabout.
Yes.
You know, those
all
are really,
the classic.
They were classics, weren't they?
Yeah.
So, you know, when you brought up on Trumpton and you're excited about the fire engine at the end, when Thunderbirds came along, oh my God, it's a completely different level of adventure, isn't it?
Yes, that's right.
All of a sudden, I mean, you know, the opening sequence had massive explosions.
Yeah.
Suddenly there were all these fantastic craft. You know? And, you know, proper adventure.
I mean, I sort of envy people like you who saw it, you know, not obviously when it was first broadcast, but saw it as a child for the first time, not knowing what to expect. Because, you know, being an adult, you're quite blasé about it. Oh, it's Thunderbirds. Yeah, we know the opening sequence and the explosion and the launches. But actually seeing them for the first time as a child.
That's right. And, of course, you know, there were no videos then. So, you know, you watch it or miss it.
Yes.
You know?
And what was it particularly about? Was it the craft or the characters or the storytelling or the models?
As a little boy, it was the craft, you know. I loved aeroplanes. I always liked aeroplanes.
Yeah.
And to see these fantastic, you know, spaceships and, you know, supersonic jets.
Yeah.
And in a proper, you know, Jeopardy adventure was just brilliant, you know.
Yeah.
I think, and it was so colourful as well, wasn't it? It was so vibrant. There was something about, I think as a young kid, you know, I was attracted to the colour of things, and the Gerry Anderson shows, they were sort of color coded, weren't they? They I mean, Thunderbirds, for instance, the different sashes.
That's right.
Different color sashes, different colored craft.
Yes.
And then Captain Scarlet, of course, is the spectrum of colors. There was something about that sort of bright 60s sort of
aesthetic,
vivid aesthetic, that really appealed to. And also, of course, the music was a huge hook for me.
And what's interesting, considering you've latterly found a lot of work providing voices for Gerry Anderson series, did they strike you at the time? Do you remember Jeff Tracy or original Captain Scarlet voices?
I don't think I recognised them as great characters. I was just drawn into the story like any child would.
Yeah,
because I was totally immersed in the world, and it was totally believable. That sort of uniform style that Gerry has, that super marionation. It just draws you into that world, and it's so beautiful and charming and kind of magical. That as a child you just accept it. And that's the wonderful thing. As you get a little bit older, people are quite cynical and they sometimes laugh at the puppets, but I never laughed at the puppets watching Thunderbirds. I was just like, wow, this is great, Show more of Thunderbird 3. Because I loved orange.
Okay.
Orange was my favourite colour. Random thing. It's like, more Thunderbird 3, please. Why isn't Thunderbird 3 more active? Why doesn't it do any more adventures, any more rescues?
Now, you touched on it already, your first Anderson memory, but let's have a look at it in video form. See if this sends shivers down the back of your spine.
Okay.
Have a look at this. There you go.
Absolutely, there you go.
That has got to be
Guaranteed.
the quickest first Gerry Anderson memory we've had on the podcast. But
that was it. That was that's the logo. That's the moment. That means that whatever
anything could happen.
Absolutely. Right. You knew that for at least the next half an hour, probably the next 45 minutes, you were going to be watching something great. And when that came on, I didn't know whether it was going to be Joe 90 or Captain Scarlet or Thunderbirds.
Yes, right.
Because a little boy, and I was just hooked. That was it. That was the hook that got me into it.
Yeah. And at what stage then did you start to think that you might, obviously not necessarily want to be a part of that Gerry Anderson genre, but to be an actor in some form or a performer in some way?
Gosh, I don't know.
Was it always
I probably wanted to be Captain Scarlet as a kid, or wanted to be Virgil Tracy, perhaps.
Amazing.
Because I had look at this. This is UFO, isn't it?
Yes, that's right.
I had one of these. I had the corgi green one.
Right.
Corgi dinky, I can't remember. And I kept losing that because that kept firing.
Of course. Everybody did.
But just playing, dressing up, playing.
But was there
running
a moment
around
when you thought, I'd like to make a living out of doing this?
Well, when I decided to become an actor, I never thought that there was a chance that I could play any of the heroes that Gerry Anderson had created.
Yeah.
No way.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's
Yeah, way off the scale.
Yeah, way off the scale. Yeah, and a totally different universe. I mean, how do you even do it? And then, when the stage show came along, that was pretty groundbreaking, really.
So, Thunderbirds FAB, the stage show.
A stage show, yeah.
Were you part of the original cast?
I wasn't part of the original cast. It was created by Gavin Robertson and Andrew Dawson, Mind Theatre Project, and they were touring the show for years, and they were a big, massive hit at the Edinburgh Festival. I remember going to the Edinburgh Festival one year in the 80s. I think it was up there doing some Shakespeare play or something, and seeing the banner Thunderbirds. I was thinking, wow, that's amazing. I haven't even seen the word Thunderbirds since I was a little boy.
Yes, that's right.
Because there were no videos or DVD that didn't exist.
That's right, yeah, exactly.
I was like, wow, that is amazing. So it appealed directly to the nostalgic audience. You know?
Really did.
That's the audience that the show was originally, created for.
Yeah.
Because people couldn't go away and check out what was in any particular episode.
Yeah.
Because it was just the memory of it.
That's right.
So that show became a big cult hit and went into the West End, and the boys did, broke the box office record there, the Apollo, I think it was, in Shaftesbury Avenue. And they decided they didn't want to do it anymore. And they thought, well, a friend of mine, John Gore, who's a a fledgling producer. He's now a very big producer.
Yeah.
He said, well, I think the show could run successfully in the West End. Yeah. And the boys at the time weren't sure whether they could teach the show to two others, because it was a two-man show.
That's right.
Because they'd been trained in mime.
Yeah, that's right. A very specialised form of mime as well.
That's right. Yeah. And luckily, there was a lovely friend, an actor called Paul Kent, who I was in university with. We were all in university with John.
Yeah.
And we sort of looked a little bit like Gavin and Andy.
Yeah, yeah.
Paul was very much like Andy. I was a little bit more like Gavin.
Yeah.
And anyway, long story short, they did teach the show, and we went on various tours, and we ended up in the West End, and I think it was about nearly 5 years of work.
Amazing, really.
All over the world, and Japan, Australia, and
gosh, I got crew in Plymouth.
You got crew.
Great. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah,
because they then went on to had other iterations. I mean, I did it with.
That's right. Yeah, you went.
I did it with Paul.
You did it with Paul after Space Precinct. I remember.
That's right. So, what was your journey from Thunderbirds to Space Precinct, in which you played many roles? Because I seem to remember that we have been going for quite some time, maybe a few months before you joined us.
Yeah.
So how did that happen?
Well, I'd heard that Gerry was doing a new show through Rob Thurtle.
Yeah.
From Mime Theatre Project and Andy Dawson, because they had done the pilot, I think.
Yes, that's right.
I think they'd done the pilot episode of
Space Police, as it was.
Space Police, as it was.
Yeah.
That's right, with Shane Rimmer, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So it's a completely different pilot cast.
Yeah.
So there were rumblings and rumours that this was going on, and I thought, I'd love to be able to do that. And Rob said, this is something that maybe, you might be able to get involved with. I was like, that'd be great. But the irony was I was doing Thunderbirds at the time, and I was in Australia.
Okay.
When it all kicked off. So
right.
I was like desperate. Anyway, it all worked out. So I came into the show a little bit later,
because Rob and Andy went off, didn't they? Or certainly Rob did, to do Three Musketeers.
They went off to do
Or
Rob and Andy went to do Three Musketeers,
right?
With Gavin, and that was a way into the show for me.
Yeah.
But I had met Gerry. I had a meeting with Gerry before the series, because they needed to promote this show, Space Police, in America, in Florida, in Miami, at some gigantic television festival.
Yeah.
So I went along and met Gerry in his office, and he sort of outlined the sort of general idea of what the show is about. And I said, well, it sounds fantastic. He said, well, there may be a chance for you to be in it. We're not sure, didn't know. Typically, you don't know until you're actually doing the job, right?
No, absolutely.
But I got a call just before Christmas. This was way before the series had started.
Yeah.
From Gerry Anderson, who phoned me in my home in Porthcawl.
Amazing.
There's a phone call for you, Wade.
Yeah. It's Gerry Anderson.
It's Gerry Anderson. And he phoned me and said, we're going to Miami to promote with Richard Gregory.
Yeah.
And so Gerry was going, Richard Gregory was going.
Yeah.
And would you come along and be a Creon?
Great.
I said, a what?
But yes.
But yes.
A what?
Course,
but
yes.
Of
course, whatever you like.
Miami, you said? Yeah.
Miami, yeah. So the three of us, took up the Three Musketeers. We flew off to Miami, and we attended this television festival where there was like Baywatch and Babylon 5, I think.
Yeah, well, absolutely, around that time.
It was huge, and we went to a Baywatch clam bake while we were over there.
I don't want to know what that was like.
Which was incredible. I mean, it was a very starry thing, and Richard and I were like, this is going to be great. Brilliant. We are going to take over the world. This is going to be massive. We had a great time.
Yeah.
But I spent several hours a day dressed as a Creon in all the gear.
Now, had the show been greenlit by then? Or was this part of the process of trying to raise the finances?
I think it was part. I think it was part of the process.
But that must have been.
So there was a bit of
one that clinched many deals.
Well,
then.
I think it probably did. I would imagine
Yeah.
It would have.
Because I know there are stories, I think, from Miami of, one broadcaster putting their hand up and saying, well, I'll have it for X amount.
Oh, really?
And other broadcasters saying, well, if they're having it, I'll have it. I'll have it. I think
that
Richard
right?
Gregory used to tell the story that
Wow.
suddenly the whole room was saying, yeah, we'll have it.
Wow.
And off it went.
Well, certainly the crayon cop that I
Yeah.
was playing was attracting quite a lot of attention.
That's right.
And the Americans, they love to talk to people in masks.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
They were just coming up and saying, hey, where are you from? I said,
Yeah.
well, I'm from Demeter City.
I
At
don't
one
know
point, Joan Rivers came up and spoke to me. And they're just very happy chatting to aliens and Mickey Mouse and anything.
That's right,
anything in a funny head.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was great fun, it certainly turned a lot of heads.
Well, what's interesting is that I was speaking to David Quilter
Yes.
earlier, who's also a podcast guest.
Fredo.
That's right. And, he was saying what I would say about working on Space Precinct particularly was that I always felt like I worked for Gerry and not with Gerry because we didn't see very much of him.
That's very true.
And I can't say I had much of a relationship with him or even by the end of the shoot whether he'd even recognise me if I walked past without the mask on. But you, because of your experiences with the Thunderbirds stage show, had got to know him somewhat.
I had, that's very true. Although, like you say, he wouldn't have recognised me because we were, as you remember,
Yes.
we were all latexed up.
But how did you find him as a man? What are your memories of
Well, he was
Gerry?
he was always very loyal to me and very, very trusting and I can't say a bad word about him because, he just had belief in me, even when maybe I didn't have as much belief in myself as I should have. He was said, no, you can do it. And I think he remembered me from when we did like the Generation Game or something together, when we did the Thunderbird appearances and stuff. And, and of course, when we went to Miami, right?
Yes, yeah. Amazing.
So when it came to Captain Scarlet, I was able to knock on his door.
Oh.
And
wow. And say, remember me?
I'd found out that there were rumours that Captain Scarlet was happening. Because, not least because I did do, gosh, I'd forgotten about this. I'd actually been brought in as a motion capture performer for the pilot of this new Captain Scarlet, which featured Francis Matthews.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
So very, very early embryonic stages of what a new Captain Scarlet may or may not be.
Yeah.
And I did that and I thought, that's great. I said, but what I'd really like to do would be a voice in it.
A voice.
A voice. A voice in it.
Yeah.
So I actually knocked on his door in Pinewood, which you could in those days. And he said, oh, nice to see you. He said, what can I do for you? I said, well, I did the motion capture for you for Scarlet. I just wondered, if you went to series, whether you might consider me for more motion capture stuff, please. And he said, well, what are you doing at the moment? I said, well, I do mostly voice acting. I'm an actor. Yeah. And he said, well, why don't you come and audition for Captain Scarlet on Thursday? And I went, yeah, I'd love to. Thinking, it'll be air traffic controllers, thugs.
Yeah. And you'd be happy to do that, I'm sure.
I would have been very happy to do that. And he went over to this old filing cabinet, and he reached in and he got the script out, and it was lines for Captain Scarlet. And I said, well, no, this is to read for Captain Scarlet. He said, that's right. He said, come along on Thursday and do that. I said, yes.
Amazing. Gosh, how incredible. We'll talk more about Captain Scarlet next week. But in the meantime, let's just have a look at you in action from Space Precinct. And see if you remember this little beauty.
Sure, I seen it. I told my buddy Embry I seen it. And I'm telling you, I did. Huh?
Saw what? Warren, what are you doing?
Zipload said we gotta find a pump a little.
This is highly irregular, officer.
What can we do, Captain? If we don't pay, he don't play. Tell the captain what you saw.
Okay. I was coming back, see, from my job. Got a job, I collect trash. I turn it in. And I seen...
Why did they think of me for this character?
It's funny, isn't it? Yes, exactly. What was it about me that they...
There must have been something.
Please, what did you see on the cliff?
Oh, it was terrible. I told old Embry, I mean, I never seen nothing.
I guess my hands should be dirty. My hands are very clean.
Right, yeah.
They should be dirty, shouldn't they?
That's right.
Okay. There was this Creon, a female.
Yeah? Was this her?
Hey, when you see one Creon, you see them all.
Whoosh, up in flames.
Do you remember actually shooting this scene?
I do remember shooting this scene very well.
Yeah.
Because there's a good story behind this.
Down and down she goes.
Because
There's a lot, isn't there, to say? That's one of the biggest parts I've ever had on screen.
It was a lovely part, yeah, and quite important to the plot as well.
Yeah.
Who pushed her?
Because you've seen.
I ain't sure.
I saw
certain.
Haldane
That's it.
pushing somebody off a cliff.
Podley's daughter.
Yeah.
It wasn't it. The guy I seen was human. I want some grub. You promised me I could have some grub if I...
Don't worry, pal. We got you covered.
Do you recognize him in any of these photos?
Nah. Wait a minute. Look again.
This is Jerome at his best as well.
Yeah, this is Jerome.
Oh,
yeah. This makeup was Neil Gordon's.
Ah, right,
That's the guy I
okay.
see.
The crayons and the tarns were done by Richard Gregg.
That's
This was
right.
one of the rarer Neil Gordon ones.
There we go.
What a great clip. That's so good. What an
do you
amazing memory.
what do you remember of shooting that then?
Well, I remember this very vividly because on my way to work that day, I crashed my car.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Wow.
because there was a wasp in my car.
Oh God.
And the wasp appeared from nowhere, came to life.
Yeah.
Life. It had been a cold night. I don't know,
Yeah.
it had been sleeping. And this wasp went absolutely mad as I was driving to work. And I tried to open the window of the car. And the next thing, there was a red light. There was a car in front of me. And I went, ah!
Oh my gosh. I don't remember that. Wow.
Yeah. So I arrived at the studio pretty shaken.
Yeah.
For this pretty big part, right?
Yeah.
So I got into makeup, explained, what happened? The wasp. Oh, what happened to the wasp? Did you get him? No, the wasp flew away.
Yeah. Did he put anything on it? No, he had it as it was.
If I'd got that wasp, I'd have captured the little thing. So I got into all this makeup because that's a makeup you can't take off. Once it's on, it's on. You can't take the head off.
Yeah.
Like with a crayon or a tar,
Yeah.
you could take it off. And when we went on set and rehearsed that, and the bottle that I'm drinking, it's a real glass bottle.
Yes.
And I chipped the front of my teeth.
Now I do remember that.
It wasn't badly chipped, but I did chip it.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I do remember that. Yeah, because of course it's difficult to explain, but you could see nothing. Essentially, you could see nothing. So you have no idea of space, where things are in space.
Yeah.
So to hold a bottle, which is why you can see us holding it to your mouth.
That's right, yeah.
But obviously that's difficult when you yourself can't see where you should be holding it.
That's right, I know. Yeah, you're going, where is it? You could end up sticking it in your eye.
Absolutely, yeah, in your one eye, yeah. That's right, which would be no good to anybody.
No
yeah,
good at all.
I do
remember
remember
so I did
that.
that. It was like, oh no, whoa.
What a day.
What a day. But it was a great day's filming.
Yeah.
And I just wish I'd had dirt on my hands.
Funny, isn't it? Yeah,
maybe
little
they
details.
washed me at the
Yes,
when they took my prints
Took your
or
prints.
something.
That's right. That's what we'll say.
Funny the things you see.
Yeah. But of course, you were one of the few of the creature cast to also occasionally appear as themselves.
I did occasionally.
Like this.
Oh.
Sorry, fellas. Wish I could help, but you know the rules. All undocumented animals are destroyed. We just don't have the facilities.
Thanks a lot, pal.
I told you, Romek, there's nothing we can do.
Come on, Oren. Where's your sense of humanity?
There you go.
Look at that.
Very
How smooth.
A brief appearance. And I think you played several sort of medics and ambulance drivers and so on,
I did,
as
yes.
yourself.
I think I did. The very first time I played a human in it was a sort of radar operator tracking a meteorite. Or
Oh,
something.
yeah, okay.
I was like, please let me be human in this. 'cause
Yeah.
by this time, I'd played all these guest roles.
Absolutely. And what a treat to do a scene without having to put a mask on.
Absolutely. It's like, wow, it was great. And then when I came to watch it back, they revoiced me.
Of course. The perennial problem with Space Precinct.
It's like, what the devil?
Absolutely.
Yeah, yes, there are quite a few quite well-known
Absolutely.
actors, right?
Yeah, too
being
right.
revoiced.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes terribly. I mean, it's very apparent sometimes.
God.
I don't think they did themselves many favours.
It's so ironic.
Yeah, yeah.
But I haven't seen that one.
Sweet, isn't it? What are your sort of overall memories now? I mean, we're 30 years on, Wayne, if you can believe that.
Well, just lovely memories.
Yeah.
I mean, for a start, it was lovely to be working.
Yeah.
I think I had about 9 months on the show.
Yeah, that's right.
To be, one, to be working, two, to be working at Pinewood, which is such an iconic studio. And, all the memories of Bond.
That's right.
I think First Night was being filmed
That's
there.
right.
Right?
Yes, it was. Connery and Richard Gere.
Richard Gere, and, Sean Connery, wow.
Yeah.
And they built this huge castle next to the
That's
set.
right. I remember driving out the gates. We used to have fun, Charlotte and I, because we were together at that point. There used to be almost paparazzi waiting outside when Connery was filming.
Right.
And I remember she used to drive out in her Volvo and I'd be sitting in the passenger seat and I put the coat over my head to pretend that I was...
I was Sean. That's hilarious.
I don't remember seeing any pictures in the papers. Don't think it would. But yeah.
Yeah, no, what an exciting place to be.
Yeah.
God, yeah. And just, oh gosh, and we all thought, here we are.
Yes.
Here we go.
That's right. Yeah.
It was a strange one because a lot of people say, well, this is an odd job because you're getting into makeup every day, you're being glued into a chin every day.
Yeah.
I remember saying, I love the smell of Prosaid in the morning.
Prosaid, that's right. That's what it was called.
That's what it was called. That kind of latex
That's
glue.
white sticky glue, horrible. Yeah.
And then you'd be in it, and the lips were forever coming undone. Do you remember?
Yeah, I do.
So if you at lunchtime, where you're eating a sandwich, you get bits of sandwich stuck down there.
That's it.
And if you look closely, you can see very often the lips would come away while you were filming. So there's an awful lot of this going on. And you try to sort of, build it into the character. Do you remember?
That's right.
I was going,
oh dear, yeah, ridiculous. Amazing. Well, Wayne, thank you so much for joining us this week. Now, next week, we're going to take a look, of course, at new Captain Scarlet.
Ooh, okay.
And some other things that you've been up to in the Gerry Anderson universe. And we'll be answering lots and lots of questions from our viewers and listeners. So will you join us then?
I certainly will.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Wayne.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to Wayne Forrester.
Lovely guy.
Friend of the podcast.
Yeah, he never really changes either. I feel like he hasn't aged for the last 2 decades.
I know, it's extraordinary, isn't it?
Sort of annoying.
Yeah, it is a bit annoying, isn't it? He'll be back next week for the second part of my interview. Also, he'll be back a little later on in this very podcast to press the big red button to see what we get to watch on the Randomiser.
Where is the
I was just thinking, we don't have it on the desk.
Well, he's got it.
Oh,
that would explain it.
Yeah, you see? Makes sense, doesn't it? Talking of making sense.
Yes.
Shall we try and make sense of all the emails that people have been sending in at podcast@jerryanderson.com in a little section we like to call the Voice of the Podsterons.
Ooh, I like it.
This is the Voice of the Podsterons.
Hello.
We've had a letter.
Hello.
Oh, I love letters.
Love letters. Have we had a love letter?
No,
sorry,
I love.
No, he's talking like
letters.
I love
B, C, D.
I love letters as well.
Yes.
But this has been sent to us because you can send things to us.
Care of the Moxie Hotel.
Care of the Moxie Hotel in Slough.
Lovely.
We do like getting some letters.
Yeah.
And this is very special. I'm very, very happy with this one.
Is it a check?
No, not quite. It's even better. This comes from a Lawrence Hutchinson. And firstly, look at how nicely presented that is.
Oh,
Proper
Stingray
paper,
letterhead.
Stingray letterhead.
Oh,
It's
that's
lovely.
great.
So, dear Jamie, Richard, Chris, and team.
Oh, Ross.
So Ross is
Dear
here to
Ross.
us. Way back on Pod 304, you kindly read out a letter I had sent where I explained that as part of my 60th birthday celebrations, my wife, knowing I'm a big fan of all things Anderson, took me on a mini location tour. I said in my previous letter the tour started at St Michael and All Angels, aka Hughendon Church, where, as you all know, the Secret Service titles were filmed.
Yep.
As I explained previously, there was a weekly morning service being held, so my wife and I went in. We were made very welcome, and when asked what brought us to the area, I explained about the Secret Service.
Wow.
Which came as a surprise to most of the people that I spoke to.
Really?
Yeah, it comes to us as a surprise to all people. I said I would send them a copy of Chris Dare's book, The Titanic and The Secrets.
Another one.
The Secrets of the Secret Service, which was out last year. A really good read, by the way. Thank you.
Is that you saying that, or is that...
It's in
enough.
it's in brackets, but it's, it still counts.
Yeah.
This mission has now been completed. Please find enclosed some photos of my return trip to the church with the book in hand. I handed the book over to the vicar, Reverend Keith Johnson, who confessed that he was a fan of Thunderbirds, could be a good podcast guest, and that he said he would make sure that the congregation would have the opportunity to read the book if they wished.
Look at him beaming at this.
I
He
know.
loves it,
I
doesn't
just
he?
have this vision of him up at the pulpit it, reading.
Yeah.
You know, today I take my...
And lo.
Yes. And lo, standing on wind, spoke a load of gibberish. Finally, I would like to finish by saying thank you to you all for your hard work that you put in every week with the podcast, continuing the Gerry Anderson legacy through Anderson Entertainment. Keep up the good work, FAB. P.S. Please excuse the formality of a typed letter, but my handwriting is not the easiest to read.
Ah, we love it.
Lovely.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Yeah, we have these photos here.
Oh, yes.
3 there. I don't know. We can.
Yeah, look at
Maybe
that.
take close-ups. Let's take close-ups of these at some point. And we have this one. There he is. And yeah, there he is outside the church with the book.
With the book in question.
Yes, which you can all go and read right now.
Lovely.
Isn't that sweet?
Yeah.
That is really lovely.
That's
I like
a
that
very
lot.
special letter. Thank you ever so much. I'm quite chuffed with that.
That's made Chris's year, isn't it?
Yeah, he's easily pleased.
Lovely. Well, we do love to receive your physical letters, but we also have a few emails. So I'm going to read this one out from Guy Knowles from Stockton-on-Tees. Hi, Guy says, "Hello, James, Richard and Chris."
Oh, that's very formal.
What are your thoughts on the merchandise for the Gerry Anderson show? I'm from the generation that had the Matchbox Thunderbirds and Stingray toys from 1992-93 and the Vivid Imaginations Captain Scarlet toys from 93-94. I have all the Thunderbirds figures, bar Jeff, Gordon and John, all the die-cast Thunderbirds models in and out of packets, a die-cast large mole, a small pullback Thunderbirds 1, 2 and 4, and the large Thunderbird 2 and 4 playset, as well as the 2000s Vivid Imaginations large Thunderbirds 1, 2, 3 and 4, as well as the Firefly and the smaller Soundtech vehicles and the Tracy Island playsets somewhere.
All right, Guy, showing off now.
Where did he put all this stuff?
He hasn't got any of the Space Precinct stuff, though.
I noticed
Well,
that.
not that he lists.
Ah,
very Thunderbirds.
You're assuming that we've finished. As for Stingray, says Guy, I have all the figures, the small die-cast Stingray and Terrorfish, the Marineville playset and the large Stingray playset, and Captain Scarlet. I have the figures of Captain Scarlet, Lieutenant Green and Destiny Angel in packet, the die-cast SPV, SPC, SPJs and Angel Interceptors, along with the cloud-based playset and the large SPV, plus the 2000 Soundtech SPV and Angel Interceptors. But one thing I think of is why certain characters were never made, like Tintin, Kirano, or Grandma for Thunderbirds, Atlanta, Lieutenant Fisher or X20 for Stingray, or Captains Ochre and Grey, Dr. Fawn, Melody, Symphony, or Rhapsody Angel. Please tell me your thoughts on this and the 90s, 2000s Gerry Anderson toys. Guy Knowles from Stockton-on-Tees.
Well, I love them.
Yes.
I had lots of them.
Did you?
They were very good stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, the Space Precinct toy line in particular is one of my favourites.
Really?
Yeah, it just everything was to scale with the cruiser. You didn't have to sort of squash it down. But
That's true.
I mean, my thoughts on why certain characters weren't made certainly is, Grandma doesn't have much play potential. But I think also it's in terms of cost. You've got a model of a Tracy brother or a Spectrum Captain. You can use that for half a dozen figures. Whereas if you've got to create a mold of Grandma especially, you can only use it once.
Got you.
So it's just sales, I guess.
Not much of a play pattern for those characters.
No.
So, and sometimes they do make weird choices, though. We've talked about this before when Funko did their figures and they started with Brains, Penelope, and Parker rather than starting with the brothers.
With Brains, Penelope.
Yeah, well, because people want the brothers, which I completely get because they're the stars of the show alongside the vehicles.
Yeah.
Really.
But no, I love all that stuff. I've still got them. I would have liked to have seen more, but it's great what we got.
In a couple of weeks' time, we've got David Mather.
Oh, yes,
from Corgi. So he might be able to shed a little bit of light on what gets made and why.
Yes, he will.
Yeah. An email there for you, Jamie.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's always a worry when an email begins with an apology for being long and rambling. Well, Jay, let's see how long and rambling this is. Hi, guys. Apologies for another rambling email.
Yeah, that's all right.
Thank you for apologising in advance. I loved your randomised discussion on Dick Spanner over pods 330 and 331.
Yeah, it's fun.
That was tough going, wasn't it, when it's so relentless. I count myself among its fans, although I don't disagree that full versions versus the shorter episodes make for a somewhat exhausting watch.
Yes.
I'm glad you agree.
That's the word.
It was great, but exhausting. Chris's impression of Rowley Birkin QC from the Fast Show, talking about the team making Dick Spanner being very, very drunk, reminded me that there was an unexpected Anderson connection when I watched An Evening with the Fast Show in Bournemouth a few months ago.
Oh, wow.
Okay, unexpected. John Thompson was talking about the creation of his it's Louis Balfour, isn't it? The the jazz
guy. Yes, that's right.
From the Jazz Club sketches. When a picture of Ed Bishop in his Ed Straker guise suddenly popped up on screen. As it turns out, Straker's hairstyle was the inspiration for Balfour's coiffure.
I can see that.
Yeah,
that's
I
right.
hadn't expected these two loves of mine to have any kind of connection. Well, I wouldn't have expected it either, but that's rather nice.
Yeah.
Chris also mentioned, this is all about you, Chris.
I know.
What's going on?
I know.
I just waffle, say so much.
Well, that's true.
That's
what it is.
Chris also mentioned he'd love to give Dick Spanner to Aardman to see what they could do with the concept, and straight away my mind went to a series they produced in the late 90s and early noughties. The comedy style is in a similar vein to Spanner, that is completely bonkers.
Yeah.
But maybe not quite such an assault on the grey matter.
Right.
I decided to give it a watch again. It's free from Aardman on YouTube.
What's it called?
I'm going to find out, hopefully, maybe not. And was reminded that there was also a random Anderson link in there as well. In an episode where the main characters have inadvertently punctured the Earth, causing it to deflate, they steer it into an intergalactic service station. I told you it was bonkers.
Yeah.
The waiters in the restaurant are all robots, and you may recognise the hats they wear as being very similar to certain pointy blue caps featured in a well-known series about a rescue organisation. I too would love to see what Aardman would do with the Dick Spanner premise. Thanks for listening to my nonsense. FABPWORSPASIG, etc. from Jay Fenney. And Jay does not mention the name of the series, but Chris knows what it is, and it is
Rex the Runt.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah, you knew.
I recall, because there's only one Aardman thing to my mind that instantly feels spannery.
Yeah. I think they're in the final episode. They accidentally dig a hole in their garden that goes through to Australia, and they start having a war with Australia, just throwing things at them. One of the things they throw down the hole is the Thunderbird 3. So there's a few references like that in there.
I mean, we do occasionally reach out to Aardman to try and get someone on the podcast to come and talk to us, but I think they've got quite a bit on their plate.
They're very busy.
come
they
on.
make films and
Nick
things.
Park, I mean, Peter Lord, I don't think they do anything these days, do they?
No.
Come on, lads. We'll have to try harder.
Yeah. Also, interesting. John Thompson then. So he's obviously got an interest.
Yeah.
I might see if I can put an email his way and see if he might join us.
Yeah. I'd love some of those sort of 90s, noughties comedians to come on, because I bet you a lot of them...
Yeah. And I bet he's a massive UFO fan.
Yes,
he's got to be.
Must be.
That's great. Thank you for that, Jay. And thank you everyone else as well, particularly for the physical letters, which we love.
Yes.
We love
Yes.
letters,
More
as we've
please.
established. If not, email us at podcast@gerryanderson.com. Yeah. Shall we see what new Captain Scarlet himself chose via the big red button for us to watch on the Randomiser?
Oh, I think we probably should.
I would love that.
Over to you, Wayne Forrester.
Okay, guys, this is it. Stand by for action. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Wayne. Off we go then.
Well, that was quick.
Wow, early days.
Very early days.
Lovely.
Yes.
So it's been a 5 on XL5.
Yes, 64 years ago.
Is it really?
64
maths.
years old the other day,
Ah,
At the time of recording. Yeah.
But more importantly, Chris, can you tell us everything we know about...
Fireball XL5 started in 1962, 39 episodes, and there was about the adventures of the World Space Patrol, and they go around the rocket at the same time, and they go whoosh.
Wow.
Wow.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I think
yes.
that's
There you go. We didn't even have to time that.
No, only in XL5 seconds.
We're watching... Yeah, very good. We're watching Plant Man from Space.
We are.
Oh, good. Okay, well, in that case...
I'm glad we're watching Plant Man from Space.
Oh, I've
Specs on.
just realised I've forgotten my glasses. So, specs off.
Specs on for me, specs off for Dickie.
Off we go.
Instant drama.
Absolutely. The AP
Fireball
Thruns.
XL5.
Oh, I'd never thought of that.
Yeah, it's got to be, isn't it?
Yeah, probably is.
Hey, Venus.
Okay, Steve.
That's really given me a little thrill.
Yeah.
I've never thought of, even though we know so many Barry Gray.
It's XL5.
I'm never going to be able to unhear that.
No! Sorry about that.
Has Richard just ruined that for you, Podsterons? I mean...
But
every
it
time.
is, yeah.
It's lovely.
I am here specifically to ruin things for you. You know that.
Well, why break the habit of a lifetime? A beautiful launch sequence.
Yeah, it is amazing.
So
Lovely.
enjoyable.
Yeah. And a taste of things to come, of course, in practically every other Gerry Anderson series.
And I love the way they have that grand opening with the music, and then as soon as the engines start, it all cuts out until we're in the sky.
Yeah.
And then we get the jazz solo.
Lets the sound effects do the work.
Great. We had Nigel Parkinson on a couple of weeks ago. Beano and Gerry Anderson artist, cartoonist, and he picked a moment from Fireball XL5 of Robert the Robot on the furnace as his first Anderson memory. And I said, I find Robert the Robot quite creepy because the whole transparent thing, I find that very odd.
Right.
Well, speaking of very odd things, Plant Man from Space!
Excellent.
Was there ever a more 50s sci-fi movie title?
That's great, isn't it?
Again, just that lovely little electronic blips of weirdness. And then...
There's great
lovely
atmospheric music, atmospheric shots.
Yeah, and then we'll just get full-on horror.
Really?
Well, I think that was the intention.
Well, at the time of recording, we have just past Halloween.
Plant Man!
I see.
None of these capsules.
This is a John Blundell creation, I guess.
And still survives today, this puppet.
Yes.
City is immobilized.
Oh, I love him.
It's great.
I love the legs. I love the articulated knees.
Men, Steve, Zodiac, all of...
And then, is that David Graham doing the voice? Can't tell, actually.
He's just upturned his model.
All right. Yes, it already feels like such a huge step on from Supercar, with all the scope of it, the big kind of impression it gives you of the planet's surface and all the locations.
I think that this tiny reactor supplies...
And it gets quite sort of film noirish and atmospheric in certain scenes.
It'd be the same without Jock here, our chief engineer.
He's Scottish, you know. That's sci-fi TV law.
Dr. Roots.
Of course, this is all Greek to me.
Hey.
Natural historian.
Now, Howard. Ever since I've known you, and that's more years than I care to remember, you've always put up these ridiculous...
He looks like he's got devil horns.
Yes.
Now, how far into the run are we, Chris, with this episode?
This is the 5th episode produced. Yes. And I think one of the early ones shown as well.
Test this new ejection equipment when you are, Steve. I'd like Professor Maddock to be here.
Where is he?
Showing an old friend of his around, a Dr. Roots.
Thank you for showing us everything.
We'll let him loose in the nuclear power plant. I don't think he'll cause any trouble.
It's not going to end well, is it?
Steve Zodiac, he's what the kids say, real boss.
No. Did the kids ever really say that?
I'm not sure.
Hello, fellow young people.
Oh.
A neutron indicator.
Oh, no.
It's heading towards danger. And pretty good walking
The
there.
walking, that actually looked okay. Yeah. You just kind of accept that's how something like that should look, walking.
Yeah. Very fast-moving elevator there.
Well, it's the future.
That's a far more effective elevator than we saw on Space Precinct Takeover the other day. I remember you mentioning
that.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's just like a small room.
Yes, and just shut the door. Oh, we're definitely moving now.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Come on, Professor.
A power failure. Most unusual thing to happen, I must say.
Without Space City, the whole world's virtually defenseless. It's terrifying.
I guess the emergency system will be on in a moment.
Yeah.
It's not that terrifying. We have candles.
Of the exposed breaker.
This is impossible. The emergency supply has gone too.
Oh, no.
Hey, you cannot break the laws of physics, Cap.
Again, this is pre-Star Trek.
Yeah.
How much longer, Professor? I thought you said there was an emergency supply.
I can't think what's gone wrong.
It's almost like a setup. So I wanted to be alone with you in this elevator. There's things I always wanted to say to you. Oh, it looks gorgeous. All
it does.
Atmospheric like that.
I should imagine it would look great with my glasses on.
Yes, there's just a grey blur for you currently.
I think I'll use the emergency stairs. Or as they called them in the olden days, stairs. That's Thunderbirds font, isn't it? Those numbers.
It's Futura.
Yeah.
Well done, Jock.
A radioactive retardant capsule. Somebody must have put it down the air intake.
Oh, yeah.
This means a full-scale inquiry.
Absolutely. Get onto it.
Now,
Who did that?
Something doesn't say Kids Adventure Show, like full-scale inquiry.
Commander, I'm afraid we've got a little matter of sabotage on our hands.
Sabotage?
Sabotage? How? A neat little capsule of radioactive retardant.
Of course, you realize that this means a full-scale security check. Alert security. Seal off Space City immediately.
Oh, full-scale security check and then an inquiry.
Yeah, wow.
I
It's
hope
gonna
that's
take
the rest
months.
of the episode.
Quick, Steve. The space radar. Emergency.
I hope we eventually hear the recommendations produced by the inquiry.
Oh, yes.
The report will be
Plan for
available in
going
PDF
forward,
format.
yes.
Excellent.
Oh, no, another missile.
Crept up on us during the power failure.
Because we don't have any orbiting space stations or other spaceships that could have warned us about this.
Well, they did make clear that without WSP, it would be...
well, yeah, without Space City,
Yes.
the whole world
Entirely
is just
defenceless.
a whole bunch of drooling imbeciles. Yeah.
26 is the nearest. Shall I recall him to base? There isn't time. The missile will be in range in a matter of hours.
And Excel.
Well, so there is time then.
Well,
Bit out of date, isn't it?
And she has
I love Steve Zodiac's voice.
Yeah.
action test.
It's our only chance. We've just got
So heroic.
bad by morning. But we'll have to work hard if we're going to make it.
But I do find this entire sequence quite sort of low key and quite low energy. Everyone's like, oh, well, there's an emergency. We've got to really, maybe we'll slowly raise this ship very slowly.
Oh, very
The
slow.
music is doing a lot of heavy lifting here.
Yes, unlike the lifting platform.
But otherwise, there's a lot of just standing around waiting for other people to do things.
Yes, you're right.
Watching
I'm
the
not going to do
screen.
it.
No.
I'm not doing anything.
No.
I thought you were going to do something.
As our former guest, former ESA person, Dr. David Parker, would say, that's probably very accurate for
Yes.
modern-day
Wow.
space agencies.
Yeah.
Lots of waiting around, lots of bureaucracy,
Yes.
lots of inquiries.
Yes.
Inquiries, yes.
So very accurate. Gosh, these-
Fire on.
Stop
XFI.
it! Stop it! Not everything has
Next
got words
morning,
to it.
they're still going.
Oh wow, it's still.
Morning.
Seems very odd that they have it on a chained rig as well. That
Yes.
seems a bit flimsy for Royal
And
Space Patrol.
we're also about to meet the pilot of XL1.
Oh.
Commander
Is
Zero
he
looks like he's
of
broken his back.
dubious experience and skill?
He is of extreme dubious experience and
how
skill.
funny.
Yes. Yes. They say he's one of the most experienced people they have.
But why have we
Right.
never met him before?
Oh, we have met him before.
Ah.
He was in the previous episode.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Pilot of Fireball XL7.
Oh, right.
Right.
The late Fireball XL7.
So
Yes.
he has form for.
He has
see.
form, yes.
So he's just the man for the job then?
Yeah.
This does not bode well for the future of XL1, I fear.
And they're still getting ready.
They've been standing there for ages, haven't they?
It's the same shots reused,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah. They must be knackered.
Been standing there all night. Finally!
Right,
God.
okay, great.
Right,
Did
here
we
we
get an
go.
explanation of why they didn't send XL5?
I think they said it was broken or something.
Oh, it's broken, okay. How inconvenient.
The missile's in range. Look, on the space computer.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so it is.
We hadn't noticed that.
Ross is at the controls. He's very experienced.
Ross?
Ross.
well,
he's very
oh my
experienced.
God.
yes. We don't know what he's experienced at, but he's experienced.
God help us all.
14-0 black. Intercept go XL1 Alpha. Roger.
There he is.
There's
Ross.
a heroic face.
Yes.
I've seen one.
He really inspires confidence.
All chicks here are at go, full power. And good luck, Ross. Thanks, Steve.
I'm going to save the world.
This is fun.
You stay at home.
Here she goes.
Yeah, he's very experienced.
And he's crashed it.
Whoa.
Well, you know.
Nowhere to go currently, is there?
No.
Whoops. Oh, I left the handbrake on. Oh.
Wow, that's quite something.
After all that build-up.
Alpha crashed on takeoff.
And Ross.
It all depends on the new experimental ejection equipment. Ross.
There he is.
Oh, Ross.
Oh,
Really?
sorry.
They let the side down.
I blew up another ship, but at least I'm okay. There he is.
He survives to face a court-martial.
Yeah, or another inquiry.
Oh, another inquiry, yeah.
They've got to deal with the fallout from XL7 before they get
Yeah.
to XL1.
God, that's right.
It's going to be delayed.
Well,
Okay.
Right.
well, we might have time to go through all that again. Let's bring out XL2.
I mean, we're quite far into this.
And-
we had the whole plant man
Yeah.
set up.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen him since.
I mean, clearly it must be related somehow,
Oh,
but
yes.
it would have been nice to
Would also be nice if they had some missiles they could lob at it.
Yes. Oh, hang on.
Sorry.
Now's not the time.
Sorry to interrupt.
Right.
Okay. So that's just landed, really.
Oh.
It's kind of just landed.
Badly
didn't it?
landed, although
Yeah.
better than Ross's landing.
Yes.
Well done, Ross.
You can let me go now.
Well, it didn't explode.
Yeah, otherwise we'd be dead.
That's right.
Beach, only a few miles from here.
Let's go and take a look and see what it's all about.
Yeah, let's mosey on over there.
Why not?
With no hint of urgency whatsoever.
Oh, that's nice, though.
Ah, yes, it's Venus's beach house.
Doesn't seem to be destructive in any way.
Of course, we've only had a very cursory examination.
We had to come in here and sit down.
Utterly useless.
Where's it from?
Your guess is as good as mine. We'll have a chance to make a proper examination.
Oh, Steve's touching Zuni's foot.
I thought that was quite nice.
Sweet.
It's got a Lazoon foot fetish that we've not discussed openly in the show.
Call it.
Yes. Don't worry, Professor. It won't run away. I don't want you oversleeping in the morning.
Right. Okay. Because we've got a lot to do tomorrow.
Yeah, we stood in the control tower all night long. This puppet, he kind of has the feel of revamped from Supercar about him. He looks slightly too crude.
Yeah. The guest puppets in Fireball are still quite crude generally, aren't they? They don't have the same finesse you get later on in Stingray and Thunderbirds.
But inside the capsule, which everyone has just sort of totally lost interest in.
Yeah. Oh. A mysterious something. What could it be?
Oh, no.
Oh, we won't find out.
Will that security guard be all right?
Not sure yet.
This is your alarm service telling you that it's time to get up for another day.
Oh, that's nice.
Good to explain what an alarm's for.
Yeah. But it's much better than beep, 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 beep,
yeah.
beep, 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 isn't it?
I mean, she has got a pet. It's hard not to believe it. She wouldn't be woken up by him just demanding food.
Yeah. Or just weeing on the floor.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Oh, come on, Lazo.
Of her night dress.
Yeah.
That's very
wow.
flouncy, isn't it?
It's more elaborate than anything she normally wears.
Could switch it off.
What the?
Oh, killer plants.
That's Chris. It's very presumptuous. You don't know they're killers.
I mean, it doesn't look good.
No, but it could just be interested plants.
Yeah.
Interested in a lady's bedroom.
Well, yes.
The whole launching area is covered with the stuff.
So it is.
Almost makes us all going to bed at the same time and not leaving anyone on duty. You seem kind of silly.
That's because they put Ross in charge of security.
Yes,
after
that's
that.
right, yeah.
Give him something to do.
Where does it come from? It's Hedera helixa, particularly virulent form of ivy developed, I believe, on the planet Hedera.
Oh, yeah.
I know all about it for some unexplained reason.
Yes.
Every other form of life.
But how did it get here?
It must have come on the missile.
Missile.
From top to bottom, there was nothing there.
But you weren't looking for just one very small seed.
They also didn't look inside it.
No, they didn't. That's true.
Ever.
Yes, they just sort of looked at it.
Question. I thought that was
Oh, Venus.
Dragged through a hedge backwards, apparently.
stranded all alone in the middle of the jungle, Colonel Zodiac.
Uh-oh. She's not gonna let Steve forget this one.
We sent a jetmocab for you, weren't we, Professor?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Okay, I forgive you this
We're
time.
going to send a space Uber.
We go from here.
Dr. Roots, there's only one place where...
Dr. Roots.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Nominative determinism right there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Always going to be a botanist.
Or a genealogist.
Yes.
Taken over by this creeper.
But how are we gonna get there? XL5 is covered in it.
We've just...
Covered in it.
So.
Oh, no.
Look.
Yeah. This calls for a montage. There he is.
Oh, lovely.
That's not scary at all.
Tanks wielding robots.
Not at all.
Don't give Ross an acetylene torch.
Oh, God. I mean, he's not really actually doing anything there.
What
Well,
is he planning
Ross
to
has
do?
burnt down the whole of Space City.
Yeah.
Who would have guessed?
Yeah.
Where before this stuff starts to grow again.
It's terrifying just how fast it does grow.
Terrifying.
I'm so terrified.
You sound terrified.
Come on, Doctor. Let's go down to XL5.
Sort of want to see
Yeah.
swathes of ivy creeping up as they're talking, just to add some, well, any drama to it.
I'll give you some of my special space sickness tablets.
It's sort of like currently like an irritated pensioner talking to somebody about Japanese knotweed in his garden. There's no like threat of death going on.
Distinctly ill.
Now, come on, Howard. Have another space sickness pill.
But I've already had 5.
Let's hope this is more successful than XL1's launch.
Yes, they have to overfly the wreckage. But...
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
That's it. Pull up.
Fine.
There we go.
Phew.
But that wonderful shot of XL5 going over the ramp and then starting to drop, they do reuse that in later episodes. Not for a crash, but it's just when XL5 takes off, sometimes they use that shot of it just starting to drop out of the sky. They don't cut away in time, which is strange.
You know, he used to feel sick even in an old-fashioned jet plane.
Now, it won't be long now. Will it, my beautiful one?
Oh.
He seemed so trustworthy.
Yeah.
Course 164, 0 yellow.
0 yellow.
Feeling better, I hope, Howard?
Much better, thank you.
Venus will bring us a delicious...
He suddenly looks very sinister, doesn't he? Now we know he's a naughty boy.
That's the way it goes. Seeing him in a whole new light.
Poor old Venus is having a lot of close encounters with all this plant life.
Wrong, Steve Zodiac. We'll never reach Hedera.
Is that you?
Go on, have another space sickness.
Something that doesn't apply to everyone on board. You see, XL5 is doomed.
Doomed, I say.
Oh.
Somebody has planted the Hedera helix on board.
Yeah, and I've got a good idea who it was.
Oh, no, don't jump to conclusions.
And you've just got time to return to Earth if you turn back now. No, Doctor. We're going on to get what we came for, and you're going to help us.
You, Howard.
Does seem like a weird plan. Yes. Sabotage the craft I'm already on.
Well, at this point, they're sort of dependent on what he told them being the truth.
Yeah.
And there's no reason to believe that it would be.
No.
But what else have they got?
Hedera's atmosphere, stand by for landing. All systems go.
That's a great shot, isn't it? Yeah, lovely music.
But again, it's not evoking the drama of essentially being somewhat hijacked by a rogue scientist
it's just
and his
sort of business
plant.
as usual kind of
Yeah.
thing. Well, they put that. Is that the Ons Martineau occasionally playing over the top of that? Slightly spooky sound.
Yeah, probably is.
It's for vegetation. Not a clearing in sight. There is.
We'll have to crash.
On Hedera, the planet of plants. Magnificent.
Magnificent.
We'll park XL5 in free float and use our thruster packs.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. It is unusual for a planet in the show, like, you know, Planet of Plants. Normally it would be named like Plantopia or something.
Sure,
It's-
right.
What is it? Hedera.
Hedera.
Yeah.
The doctor's friend.
Oh, Robert's made a friend.
It's a strange hemorrhoid-esque bit on the back of him there.
Is this the one? This is where the control hormones are kept. Yes. Come on.
We know what this shot means.
Oh, yes. Walk into my strange alien greenhouse. It's fine.
Well, where is it?
Oh.
Thought we can see Plant Man.
Yeah.
Over here.
I've been expecting you.
Colonel Zodiac, may I introduce the Chloroform, the master of the plant world.
See how he dances.
Plants that will take over the universe, so that it is one wild and beautiful garden. And it is all my work. My work!
This was also a previous guest's first Anderson memory. I remember this scene, but I don't remember who it was.
No.
But you can see why it made an impression.
Now I want to make him some companions.
Uh-oh.
That's where you come in.
It's all gone a bit Seeds of Doom now.
Lead to Earth. You would hardly be able to resist the temptation to come to Videra. You see, you are far too inquisitive.
He's crazy. Plum crazy.
Plum
It's horrible.
Not horrible, my dear Venus.
No.
You will make a beautiful chloroform. Just one injection of hemochlorophyll form.
Yeah.
Which I suppose is quite a horrific idea for this show.
Yeah.
Or
It's a
crew can be turned into plant
Cybermen,
people.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Or Robo-Men.
It's for the first dose.
Oh,
yeah,
that is quite sinister.
Ah.
Oh, brilliant.
Oof.
Shame he didn't bring his axe.
Again, this is our heroes stand around watching someone else do all the work.
Yeah.
This also reminds me, I think there's a video or a GIF or something online of two old ladies beating each other with handbags. That's what this scene has always reminded me of. Oh,
Quite easily defeated.
he killed him. He killed the
Robert
plant man.
destroyed a living being.
I am the greatest.
The only one of its kind.
Yeah.
Gosh,
Yeah,
Robert.
we'll kill that. It's fine.
You're kind of robot, Doctor.
You never were any good at mechanics, Howard Roots.
I think you'd better come back to Earth with us, Doctor, where you can be taken care of.
But don't forget the hormones. We don't know how the weeds have progressed on Earth.
Fair enough.
Oh,
Right, put that in the
enjoyed
compost bin.
Oh no. XL5's all covered in plants again.
Oh, we didn't bring Ross with the acetylene torch.
I can imagine, though, as a kid, if you had a Fireball XL5 model, you'd be out in the garden the next day
Oh,
having
yeah.
seen this
Oh,
episode,
yeah.
wouldn't you?
There's a puppet hand with an opposable thumb. Wasn't it?
Was it? I didn't really notice.
Was it not? Or was it a gloved human hand?
It might have been a gloved human hand, yeah.
But they're still disguising the human hand thing.
Yes, in this show in particular, they do have gloves on them, and they're painted quite dark to look like puppet hands. Ah, all that dead vegetation.
I bet it must stink.
Well, Matthew, it's been quite a show.
Yes. Pity about poor Roots. He used to be such a nice fellow at University.
University. Wow.
What was his motivation exactly?
He wanted to let plants take over the universe.
Why?
Why does anyone want to have the university?
Yeah, beautiful chaos and nature rather than people. I mean, you know,
Okay, yeah.
who can blame him?
Sure.
Fair enough.
But his methods were flawed.
Yes.
Indeed, yes.
Oh.
Look at that.
Fantastic.
This is where we came in.
So sort of not, is it?
Well,
In what way is that where we came in? Looking at a big flower? Yeah, I don't know about that.
Well,
Okay, there we are.
yeah.
A 5-on-XL5, Plant Man from Space.
yeah. I feel like such a lovely puppet, such a lovely monster, and so underused.
Underused.
Yes.
Interesting, isn't it?
Plant Man from space, you'd expect him to have come to Earth on
Yeah,
that ship and sort of be...
that reveal when the door opens.
Yeah.
I wanted him to climb
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
and then be roaming and touching like things and making
Yeah.
plants grow everywhere.
That's right, yes.
Yeah, the whole trip to his planet, their planet, seemed to be kind of pointless.
All of that could have happened on Earth.
Yeah, it would have been great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An episode of disappointments, really.
No, that's harsh.
No,
'cause
I wouldn't
I
say
enjoyed
so.
Ross's massive failure.
Oh, yeah, that's always
that was
fun.
fun.
Yeah, yeah.
I always love laughing at Ross, essentially.
Oh, Ross.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, I think it's one of those episodes where I want to just everything's there. I just want to pick it up and give it a shake and see where everything lands differently.
Oh,
And
yeah,
there's something really good there that I
Yeah.
don't think they quite hit. But
Yeah.
some nice ideas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting. And it's always beautiful to look at, of course.
Yeah, lovely
Isn't it?
music.
Yeah.
So there's lots of great stuff about it, but not one of the best.
No.
Now, this is the point where I normally take my glasses off. I'll tell you what.
Backs off.
I'm going to take my scarf off instead.
Oh.
Scarf off.
Wow.
So, okay, let's give marks out of 5 to Plant Man from Space, 5-on-XL5. Yeah. It's going to be painful.
Because I don't want to seem down on
No.
any of it.
But he's going to be anyway.
I'm going to say 2.5.
2.5?
2.5.
Sure.
Chris, I'm in.
Yeah.
exact agreement with you. 2.5 from over here as well.
Well, I'm going to go 3. I'm going to be a bit more generous because it does have a certain charm with it, I think, and I think that's just notched it up another 0.5 in my books.
Okay, so how's your maths today? Where are we at?
That's 8, isn't it?
8 out of 15?
Yes. Good. Okay.
Middling.
Middling. I think that's fair enough.
Surprisingly middling.
Yeah.
Okay, well done.
The title implies a classic.
Drama. Yeah.
Title implies a 4 out of 5, but delivers a 2.5-ish.
Yes, there you go.
Oh well.
Podsterons, do you agree? Let us know. I know lots of you would comment beneath the YouTube video with your score for each episode that we watch every week. So what did you think of Plant Man from Space, Fireball XL5? Let us know. That's all for now. I think we might do this all again next week.
Yeah, shall we? Forrester will come back?
I'm sure he will. I mean, maybe watch another episode of the Randomiser.
I love it.
Be fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Nice.
See you
Might
then.
be even better.
Yes, bye.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's get started. Let's go.
Spectrum is green.
I'm going to ask you a question based on that Fireball XR5 video. There we saw a villain taking over the world with plant life, essentially.
Trying to. A
So
bit.
what would you choose if you were the arch villain of this week's episode? What would you take over the world with? What would you use? I know what I'd use.
Yeah.
Cheese. Cheese. Think about it. Everyone's got it in their fridge.
Yeah.
Not just one type, but
Oh, I
all sorts
see.
of different types of cheese that could band together and take over the world.
Not great for the lactose intolerant, though.
No. Well,
Oh, well, exactly.
you wouldn't be needed as
You'd be
the world
first
order.
under the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See?
Ouch.
You see how my plan would
Dairy
work?
bus. Okay.
Well, I'm still attached to something we talked about at the end of Attack of the Alligators. I would still like to take over the world with giant hamsters. I think if I've got to take over the world, let's make it cute and adorable.
But there are only so many hamsters in the world. I mean, I don't have a hamster,
once
so
they're
I'd be
giant-
all right, would I?
Well,
Yes, I'd say.
maybe if we breed lots of them.
Yeah, but everyone's got cheese in their fridge. That's my point.
Not everyone.
Most people.
Yeah, but you-
More people have cheese than hamsters.
You'd have to find a way to
I
make the
don't
cheese
know.
sentient.
Jamie,
At
what
least
would
it's
you choose?
sentient. You're just lumps
If
of
the hamsters
processed.
eat the cheese.
Oh
no.
The flaw in my
plan has
plan.
thwarted your plan.
Giant hamsters versus ubiquitous cheese.
I think hamsters just generally eat toilet rolls, don't they?
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what we used to give ours. What would you use, Jamie? For your weapon of choice.
Do we have to do... I mean, house flies. Because they get everywhere. They can get everywhere.
Yes.
Oh, that would be horrible.
Give
Yes.
them decent IQs.
That is terrifying, actually.
Yeah, and they can crawl into your orifices and eat your brain. And...
Give them decent IQs.
Yeah.
If they had decent IQs, would
No,
they
not
want to
that
climb
decent.
into our orifices?
Yeah, you give them sort of an IQ of about 40, I guess. Enough that they might follow instructions, but they don't have their own desires to take. Anyway, this has got weird. Can we stop now?
The fly from space. Yeah.
With cheese. See you next week.
Giant hamsters.
Squeak, squeak.
That was an Anderson Entertainment production.